What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Dadbod here, and welcome back to Bloodborne. In the last episode, we took down the Celestial Emissary, and so here we are at the lamp right after that fight. So, as I mentioned, there's actually some more stuff to do here up in the Upper Cathedral Ward. We are not done here yet. So, the way forward may not seem obvious, but what we actually have to do is this glass is breakable, and we can drop down right here. Just be aware that once you drop down, there is no returning from here to go back up there. So once you go down here, unless you use a Bold Hunter's Mark, you're not going to be warping back or getting back there. But first thing we're going to do is we're going to go over here and we're going to get this item, which happens to be a Call Beyond. If you remember this, this is something that some people have been using against us, namely the Hunter in Bergenworth and Mikolash, and we know that it is very powerful. So let's take a look. Oh, we need 40 arcane to use this thing. We are not even close, and we're not going to get there. If you really want to use this thing, that's what it'll take. It uses 7 Quicksilver bullets, and I don't know. Its effectiveness on others seems to not be quite as effective as it is on us when other people use it against us, namely because we can't spam it due to the Quicksilver bullet use. We can only use it very selectively, but that said, it is very powerful, and up to you whether or not you want to pursue that. We are not going to be pursuing that in this playthrough. So if you take a look down, if this area looks at all familiar to you, it's because it should look familiar to you, and that is because we are staring down on the Great Cathedral, i.e. where we fought Vicar Amelia, where we fought the Bloody Crow of Canehurst and Eileen's quest line. So this is just another one of those little nuggets where the game just kind of loops back on itself, and now we're seeing something from a different perspective. So let's go ahead and walk this way. Now, if you remember our first conversation with Alfred way back in the day, Alfred said something along the lines of there was a holy medium that was found in Bergenworth, or not in Bergenworth, that the scholars of Bergenworth found in the tombs deep below the city of Yharnam, and that I believe he made reference that it is housed between, or now housed behind the Great Cathedral. So we are making our way through the Great Cathedral, and we have an elevator down there that's going to take us lower. However, mind this guy over here. Don't just don't sleep on him. Don't let him attack you, because he does have powerful arcane attacks. So just swing around over to him and hit him immediately. Don't. Some people might, not know that he's there and go straight to the elevator, and then yeah, he's right behind you. So just be mindful of that. So we're going down this elevator, and some more of these little baby thing down here, creepy looking things. You can summon Damien of Mensis. He is an NPC friendly hunter that will join you. And we have reached the Altar of Despair. And in front of us we have Ebrietas, the daughter of the Cosmos. And this is the Great One, or the Holy Medium, that was stumbled upon in Bergenworth, or in the tombs below Yharnam by the scholars of Bergenworth. And this is part of what led to the Healing Church being able to gain its power, to help discover the healing blood of Yharnam that is used by the Healing Church. So looks kind of gross, and is kind of gross, and is actually completely docile. That is until you attack it, and then it becomes, of course, as you would think, a boss. I will say this is one of the hardest bosses in the game, at least in the base game. This is one that gave me the most trouble in my first playthrough. She is tough. For whatever reason, I feel like she's easier to beat when you first encounter her. It might have something to do with the fact that you get the first hit, even though it doesn't do damage, but it kind of gives you the edge on how you can position yourself. Whereas if you come in later, if you die and then you come back through the fog gate, she's already going to be aggro too. It's going to be harder to get where you need to be to hit her and attack her. So we're going to try to beat her the first try. If we can't get her the first try, not the end of the world. But let's throw on our bullet paper and have at it. So once you give her a shot, she's going to start moving, and then the boss begins. So where we are now, we're right behind her. So the trick is, as with many bosses in this game, is to stay behind the boss as much as possible. So we started off behind her. She really hasn't even gathered her wits about her yet. Like, she can't even position herself to hit us. And that's why I say it's easiest to beat her the first time you fight her. So she's stunned now. So we get a few free hits in and just stay behind her. Now, I will say, once you get to a certain point in the fight, maybe roughly half health, maybe a little bit lower, maybe a little bit higher. I don't know exactly how much it is. She's going to start using a Call Beyond. Her version of a Call Beyond looks a little bit different than the other people who've used it against us. It is easy to dodge. This version of it is easier to dodge, but if you don't pick up the tell and if you don't prepare yourself for it, she's going to get you with it, and it's going to do a massive amount of damage on you. It'll probably one-shot you. So we're going to redo our Bolt Paper. All right, so you hear that noise? That means that she's preparing a Call Beyond. So you can see that she's charging it, and then there it goes. All you got to do is run away, and as long as you keep running in a straight line, you'll be able to dodge it. So now we're going to continue with our routine, get behind her. So she's a bit more aggressive now. That's okay. And she has some other attacks. If you try to distance yourself from her, she'll charge at you. She actually has a nasty grab attack where she'll try to eat you. So you definitely want to make sure that you're trying to stay behind her so that she can't even get those attacks off on you. You'll notice that, you know, staying behind her, we're basically just, her range is limited, and she really can't hit you from behind. So here she's going to go with Call Beyond again. You've got to be on the run. You've got to know, kind of spot the audio cue. Once you kind of pick up on that audio cue, you know it's time to get moving. That's how I knew to get moving there, was I heard the attack charging up. So a couple more hits and she's going to be gone. All right, there she goes. Prey slaughtered. Ain't no thing. And for our trouble, we get the Great Is Chalice. That is the third chalice and the final chalice that we get from killing bosses in this game. And as I said, this area is optional. Ebrietas is technically an optional boss, so you don't have to fight her. And if you don't manage to get her on that first try, I mentioned it is a little bit harder to get her in subsequent attempts just because she's aggro to you right away when you walk in. If you're having trouble, in my first playthrough, I actually did summon that NPC right down there. Damien of Mensis, I believe his name was, and that's how I beat her the first try. I couldn't get her without using that help. It's just a matter of learning how to stay kind of on her, how to stay behind her. Don't back off too far, because if you create a large gap between you and her, she has these kind of charge attacks that she tries to hit you with. She does have some range. And it can get a little bit more difficult. But again, if you're having a lot of trouble with this fight, just summon the NPC and it'll make it a lot easier for you. So I mentioned, you know, when Queen Annalise was beaten to a bloody pulp by Alfred, that you can pick up the, what's it called, the queenly flesh, and that you can actually revive her. Well, this is where you revive her. This is the altar. And you can offer the flesh to the altar, and if you do that, time flows in reverse for this scrap of flesh. So if we were to go back to Queen Annalise's throne room, she'd actually be revived now. Really, there's no purpose for us to go back there, so I'm not even going to bother with it. But if we did, she would be there. And as with most other bosses, we kill the boss, we get the lamp, and there's really nowhere else for us to go here. So we are going to warp back to the Hunter's Dream. And I think we got a decent amount of blood echoes, so we'll probably do some leveling up, make sure we are in good shape before we proceed. No, we only got 49,000. I thought we'd get more than that for killing Ebrietas. Let's see here. Okay, we do have enough for at least one level. Now the question is where to put it. I am thinking strength. Let's do that. I'm going to check and see how many blood echoes we have, or blood vials rather, we have in inventory, just to see if I need to buy any more. We only have 4, so I'm going to use the rest of my blood echoes to buy blood vials. get 16 of them. Kind of hurts me a little bit on the inside to have to do that, but for this playthrough, I don't want to waste any time with more Blood Echo farming. Okay, so that is it for the optional areas. We made it all the way through Castle Canehurst. We made it all the way through the Upper Cathedral Ward. So now the only thing left for us to do in the main game is for us to return to the Nightmare of Mensis. So we unlocked that lamp, Mergo's Loft Middle. That was the lamp that we unlocked directly after fighting Mikolash. So we will return there and carry forward. And there's some good stuff for us there. Some real good stuff for us there. Okay, so the way forward is right up here on these stairs. This is area, uncharted territory for us so far. And there's, yeah, more of these little dog-headed crow things that are creepy, and a crow-headed dog, of course. It wouldn't be complete unless you had the crow-headed dog. Alright. Good stuff. And over here, we've got 2 bloodstone chunks ripe for the taking. Okay, so up these stairs, we can go left or we can go right. So if we go left, that is actually the path forward. If we go right, we'll notice there is a area for a shortcut elevator that is actually up there. We're going to get to later. But there's also a shortcut elevator for us right here that takes us back down to where we fought Mikolash. So this joins up with the other elevator that we've already activated that goes all the way down to the ground. So we can technically take this all the way down to the base of Mergo's Loft, but we don't want to do that. There's really nothing else for us to do down there. Now, there is actually a secret that has to do with this elevator. If you notice, the door is broken and it doesn't close. So that means if you are watching closely, there's actually a little gap that you can jump off and access a secret area, and that's what we're going to do. And this gap has trolled me a number of times, and it has trolled me yet again. I don't know what it is with that jump. It is easier said than done. I don't know what it is, but sometimes I just miss the jump. Sometimes I miss it like 2 or 3 times in a row, so I genuinely hope that doesn't happen. So, lesson learned, make sure that you don't have a bunch of blood echoes when you attempt that, because it is an easy way to lose your blood echoes. And I've seen some tragic things happen in this area due to missing the jump and having a lot of blood echoes at stake. Normally, actually, they're up here. I don't know why they're not up here. They might be on that ledge that we tried. No, they're all the way at the bottom. So I'm gonna go ahead and reclaim them. Sometimes they like appear on that ledge. So if you miss the jump a second time in a row, they're gone. So yeah, be mindful, and let's try this again. I actually find that it's easier to make the jump if the elevator is going down rather than up. So I'm gonna take it all the way back up and then ride it down and then try to make the jump. This is probably the most annoying jump in the entire game. But it is important. We do not want to miss it. Alright, come on. Let's do it. No! 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 Okay, I have 3,000 blood echoes. I'm not gonna waste time getting my blood echoes this time. It's not even worth it. Alright, third time is a charm. Gravity is OP in this game if you haven't been able to tell. And gravity gets a lot of people killed repetitively, and gravity costs a lot of people their blood echoes. Sad state of affairs, but it's reality. Okay, third time's a charm. Please don't embarrass me, Bloodborne. Oh, there we go. How nice. Alright, we're getting it this time. There we go. We made it. Okay. So if you go all the way to the end here, there's a treasure chest with the inflicted organ. That is a chalice dungeon item. We're going to equip our blue elixirs because if you remember that thing from the Nightmare Frontier, that brain-looking dude that caused frenzy on us, they're on this little bridge. And blue elixirs kind of help you keep your distance from them. You can engage them. In fact, I'm going to engage them, screw it. But to do that, I'm going to equip my sedatives as well, because you're going to get frenzied. Charge attack, don't get grabbed, kill, use sedative immediately. And Cursed Tempering Damp Blood Gem 4. That sounds promising. Cursed Blood Gems, by the way, always have... They generally grant you a very large buff, but then they also come with a drawback. So this one is physical attack up plus 19%, massive attack versus the kin down minus 9.7. Okay. Don't miss this item. Kin Cold Blood tier 11. Yo. I'm not even going to worry about blue elixirs since I'm taking these guys on. I take blue elixirs if I want to try to be more sneaky. And they sing this creepy little song. Come on. Make your way over here. Hello. Don't grab me. Dang it. Alright, I'm going to get frenzied. I'm dead. I am dead. Sedative? Nope. Dadgummit. So these are perhaps some of the most hated enemies of the game. You can see why. You know, mainly just because they cause frenzy. Some people really like to complain about frenzy. I think frenzy, as annoying as it is, I think frenzy is actually a cool mechanic of the game, and just in terms of how it ties in with the lore. Just I like the sense of, you know, there are things in this that open your eyes so overwhelmingly and so suddenly that it overcomes your entire body and you can't even handle it, just because there are some things in this game where it's kind of like the Matrix, like the truth is revealed to you after you believed a lie your whole life, but it's in such a violent and sudden way that it like kills you basically. All right, hopefully you don't die dropping off again. And, oh my goodness gracious. I apologize. So yeah, this area, you're going to see why we're going through all this trouble. It is not for nothing. Believe me, it is not for nothing. In fact, we're about to uncover some very important stuff. So, it is all worth the trouble. Get my 0 blood echoes back since we lost them to that stupid thing. There we go. Haha. Okay. Maybe, whoops, I didn't want to use a Molotov. Maybe we'll use our blue elixirs just to kind of get the edge and keep our sedatives equipped. Charge attack. Kill. Sedative. Oh, we still took the frenzy. That is bogus. Oh well. Yeah, having both of them right there is no bueno. Oh, man. Yeah, let's go the other way. Just pop the sedative. Thanks, old lady. Pop another blue elixir. Yeah, these guys will troll you pretty hard. Alright. Sedative. And we got one more. And he won't face the other way. Come on. Alright. We're going this way. And there he is. No, don't grab me. Don't grab me. Oh, these things are such trolls. On so many levels. Didn't get the sedative in time, but we had enough health as a buffer. So yeah, just make sure you're always fully healed. Oh, he gave us some Quicksilver bullets. How nice of him. And Tempering Damp Blood Gem 5. This thing is a beast, if I remember right. Let's check it out. Physical attack up plus 18. And it's a droplet form, which means it can be equipped to any slot. Doesn't matter the shape. Okay, thank God we got through all that. Put our blue elixirs back on. In here, we've got some more spider friends. I don't know what it is, but you see these spiders have little faces on them. They remind me of Lloyd Christmas from Dumb and Dumber, the old Jim Carrey movie. The face is totally... every time I see these spiders' faces, I think about Lloyd Christmas. It is a pretty close resemblance, at least in my opinion. Fairly amusing. Alright, let's get this guy. Nice. Okay, so let's go forward through here. Sorry for having to watch my many failures, but sometimes it be like that. This game is not very friendly to you. Okay, so over here, don't forget to pull this lever, because when you do, I mentioned when we first got here, the thing that was causing frenzy when we were walking in the Nightmare of Mensis was the brain of Mensis, or sometimes referred to as the mother brain. And there it is. So that lever we just pulled dropped the mother brain, or the brain of Mensis, all the way to the bottom. So it's not there anymore. So even if we went down all the way to the bottom, the brain would not be there to cause us frenzy any longer. So let's drop down this little hole. And beware, there's another winter lantern over there. Is this going to cause us frenzy? Is it really? Oh, no, I wasted that sedative, but I was... Oh, well, whatever. I'm going to get these spiders with Molotov. I don't want to come up with my hiding spot. Ah, come on. There we go. Top off our health, so even if we take frenzy, it's not going to cost us our lives. I'm going to pop a blue elixir because we have to walk across those catwalks and hope the thing doesn't notice us, but if it does, it's not the end of the world. Alright, here we go. Hello. No, you're not doing that to me right now. Sedative. Did I not take it? I thought I pressed the button. Oh well. Alright, so all of that for the choir bell. So the choir bell, I believe, is used for multiplayer. I think it can heal your allies. It is a hunter's tool, so it counts towards the hunter's tool trophy. So if you want that trophy, you will have to get the choir bell, which is over there. So up here we are on the catwalks. If you look down, this is actually that cathedral. You can't see them because I guess they just don't spawn unless you're in the room. But this is that room that had all the spiders in it from before. Alright, so carefully walk across that so you don't fall and get yourself killed. And then we can drop down over here. So, lots of loot in this section. So be sure to pick it all up. Great One's Wisdom. Arcane Damp Blood Gem 5. More Great One's Wisdom. So that's where the Brain of Mensis was hanging. Before we dropped it all the way down, it'd be sitting right there, looking over us that way, which is where we were before. But since we dropped it, it's not a problem. If you did not drop it and you tried to go on this bridge, it would see you and cause you frenzy nonstop and would make your life miserable. But fortunately, we're not dealing with that right now since we let it drop down. So, more items down here. Damp Blood Tinge Gem 5. Madman's Knowledge. And around the corner, we have the Iron Door Key door. So remember, we got the Iron Door Key. It was in the arena during the Mikolash fight. So here's where we fought Mikolash, speaking of which. So after the Mikolash fight, you can actually use that key and go straight through here. But again, if you enter this area with the Brain of Mensis still there, it's going to cause frenzy immediately, and you're not going to get very far down here. So technically, you can't open that right after the Mikolash fight, but you're not. You see, this guy suffered that fate, but you're not going to get very far. So really, the only way to do this is to come back from the other way, which we did. Drop the Brain of Mensis, then drop down here. So if we go here, we can actually drop down right here. Make sure you don't drop into the hole. Make sure you drop here, and you're going to take some fall damage, so make sure you're kind of healed up. The only way to do this is by taking fall damage, unfortunately. So we go here, and we get, drumroll please, brrr, the Blood Rock. So, as I said, there's only one Blood Rock in the main game. There is one Blood Rock in the DLC, and you can also, after killing the next boss that we're going to kill, you can purchase a Blood Rock for 60 insight at the insight shop. So the only way from here is to come through this little crack in the wall, drop down here, which takes you to the bridge right after the spider room where we fought that NPC hunter with the Rosmarinus. And I believe you had Ludwig's Holy Blade, and now we're back to this room with all the dolls. And so this is pretty much, and once you drop down and go through all of that, this is the only way to go. However, we do want to go down here instead of warping back to our lamp, because there is a new secret for us. Watch out for that. So this elevator was not here before. It is here now. So we are definitely going to want to take this elevator down. Oh, I'm out of Molotovs. All the way down. And for those of you Dark Souls veterans, this place is reminiscent of the Abyss. Not the same thing, but it just has the same look. It's just a big void that you can walk on. And fortunately, you don't need any special item to walk on this. So here we have the Brain of Mensis right in front of us, and it is somewhat disabled, I guess, since we dropped it from such a huge height from way up there. So you can walk right up to it. It's not going to do anything. You'll see its eyes follow you. And, you know, it is a giant brain, and you remember people like Master Willem saying they wanted to line the inside of their brain with eyes. Well, here we have a massive brain, which is, I believe, technically a great one, and it is, you see, lined with eyes. So really they're trying to achieve that higher plane of the great ones by trying to see with their brain and achieve that higher level of insight and wisdom. So this kind of is a reflection of that. Or what they were trying to achieve is a reflection of the Brain of Mensis. But anyway, so all that being said, remember from the Upper Cathedral Ward, we got the Make Contact gesture. There's a very specific reason why we're doing things in the order that we're doing things. It's not just haphazard. So let's go ahead and do the Make Contact gesture right in front of the Brain of Mensis. And you do have to let it kind of go for a little while. This is not something that people are going to figure out unless they know exactly what to do. And I think it's, I forget how long it is that you have to hold this position for, but it is for for a little bit, probably at least 30 seconds to a minute or so. Just kind of chilling here in front of the brain of Mensis. You can hear that creepy little heartbeat this thing has. It's kind of gross. Alright, any day now. There we go. So you wait for that whole thing to transpire, and you get another moon rune. So the only way to get this version of the moon rune is to do the make contact gesture in front of the brain of Mensis and hold it. Let's check this one out. This is the best version of the rune. The great ones that inhabit the nightmare are sympathetic in spirit and often answer when called upon. So, the next thing for us to do is to kill this thing. So, you can attack it, you will do damage. And this thing has a lot of HP. Once you start attacking it, it is completely docile. It will not respond at all. It'll just sit there and let you kill it. And there also is a very specific reason why we are killing it. And one more. For killing the brain of Mensis, you get the living string. So, the living string is a chalice dungeon item. As far as I know, the only way to get one is by killing the brain of Mensis. Special material used in a holy chalice ritual, the immense brain that Mensis retrieved from the nightmare was indeed lined with eyes on the inside, but they were of an evil sort, and the brain itself was terribly rotten. But even still, it was a legitimate great one and left a relic. A living relic at that, which is a precious thing indeed. Okay, so this is the item that you're going to need if you're going all the way through the chalice dungeons. If you want to get to that lowest, the last level of the chalice dungeons that you need to get the platinum trophy, you're going to need a living string to perform that chalice ritual. So you do need a living string. That is a requirement if you do want to get the platinum trophy. So make sure that you don't skip this step. I'm actually going to use a bold hunter's mark because screw all this. I just want to go back to the lamp and we're going to proceed forward with the game. And we are actually not too far from the end of the Nightmare of Mensis. And this is really the last full-blown area of this game. After you beat the Nightmare of Mensis, that pretty much triggers the end game. So, here we have some dudes that look like the Shadows of Yharnam, but are no match for us. Didn't drop anything for us, unfortunately. And watch out for this guy up there. He's going to try to blow his torch on you. I just run up. His attacks aren't going to hit us if we stay moving. There we go. He dropped some blood vials for us. Good boy. Okay. I believe there's stuff around this corner. Some bloodstone chunks. Can't remember if there's anything down the stairs. And if you hear pigs, you're not hearing things. They're here. So, there's one of our friendly piggies. We'll sneak up behind them. These pigs are a bit more powerful than the ones we faced in the past, so sneak up on them. Do the usual routine visceral attack. That got him. There's actually a couple other pigs patrolling around here as well. And if they... Yeah, there they are. Are they going to see me? Or are they going to go the other way? Nope, they're coming this way. So let's go around. So we're going to drop down right here. Which takes us to another kind of way around. And we get a cool view over here too. I'm a big fan of this view. But first we're going to kill the skull head and get some more chunks. Check this out. Look at the moon, man. That's pretty cool. I just think that's a really cool, like... That's just cool. I'm a fan. Nice little, like, the cloud textures, all that stuff. I'm a big fan of this area. Okay, so let's go this way. And around here, there's going to be more Shadows of Yharnam looking dudes. They just noticed me, so I'm just going to go ahead. Ah, that guy's got the projectile fire. Oh, dang it. Alright, we're going to get this guy away from the fire dude. There we go. More blood vials. Where's this other guy? He's right there, so I'm just going to rush him. He's got a Tonitrus as well. But it doesn't matter. Quicksilver bullets. And I believe there's an item. Yep. Some more bloodstone chunks. So over here, more Shadows of Yharnam. Some of them will chase after you, some of them won't. It's an easy way to thin the herd before taking action. Oh, he interrupted my charge attack. Ha! There we go. Any drops? Nope. I think there's one more up here, the one with the fire. No? Is there not another one? Oh, there he is. Come on. Actually, I think if you lure the pigs to the Shadows of Yharnam, they'll start to fight the pigs. It's kind of funny. No, sir. So fighting both pigs at the same time is actually rather difficult. I try to ISO them as best as I can. I don't always succeed at that. So I try to get one of them to notice me, and then he'll charge at me. Dang it, they both are looking around now. Come on. Just you, though. Just you. No? Alright. These things are actually very dangerous at this part in the game, so I don't want to be careless and then have to warp all the way back at our lamp because I did something stupid and died. I've died enough in this video already. Most of them courtesy of gravity, but... Alright. Let's see if we can sneak up on. Actually, I'm just going to cause this one to turn around and face me. Hopefully the other one won't notice. Up. Yeah, so much for that. Now they're going to chase after me. Yo! Alright, so yeah, the other one doesn't care anymore. Okay, good. Drop some blood vials for me. Now we can get this other one by itself. Oh, hello. One more shot. There we go. Now those things are a little bit problematic. So we got some items over here. Kin Cold Blood 11. Kin Cold Blood 11. Lots of good leveling up type stuff. And a Nourishing Damp Blood Gem 4. I believe this is another like plus 18% damage thing. So lots of good stuff in this area. Attack up plus 15. Close enough. Alright. So we've got everything we can get over here. And this is actually, if you look at those blood echoes, this is actually the best area in the game for grinding for blood echoes. I'm going to show you after we beat the next boss. I'm going to show you what I perceive to be the best blood farming route in the game. So here we've got Queen Yarnamagan, and we can take a nice close look. You can see she kind of looks dead. Of course, well, of course she's dead, but she just has a weird looking face, and then, you know, she's all bloodied up, presumably from the birth of her Great One child, from the Great One Odin, and her child, via the Great One Odin, is Mergo. If you notice the name of things, we are in Mergo's loft. And so we're about to find some more stuff out about this game. It's another Yusefka's Blood Vial. We can't pick it up because we already have one in our inventory. And here's that shortcut that I was talking about earlier that kind of takes us down here. So we're going to travel down here, and we're going to use the lamp to warp back to the Hunter's Dream, spend our 129,000 blood echoes, and then we're going to head back here and fight the next boss. So if you remember when we respawned after killing Rom, there was like a note that appeared on the screen that said something about like silence the cry of the baby or something like that. So you notice ever since that point we've been hearing a baby crying in the background. And so we're going to kind of find out what that's all about. Let's get some strength. Let's get some stamina. Actually, let's put ourselves 2 points into stamina. And we got some new runes. I actually, probably against conventional wisdom, I like to go triple moon rune. So I'm going to sacrifice some health in doing this because I have a health rune equipped, but I don't even care. I just like getting the blood echoes. And then for the DLC, I'm probably going to rearrange my runes a bit just because the enemies are so hard. But these runes stack. I think one of them is worth 10% extra additional blood echoes, one of them is worth 20%, and one of them is worth 30%. So you stack those together, you're getting almost like 150% blood echoes for everything that you kill. So that's the runes. Let's do see if my weapons need to be repaired at all. Not really. Alright, let's upgrade. Fortify, actually, we can fortify our saw cleaver to +9 because we have enough chunks. And we're going to fortify our Ludwigs to +10 with our Blood Rock. Oof. It's been a long time, but we finally got there. Let's do some Blood Gem fortification. Let's optimize our Ludwigs. So this one we can put attack +15 on here. Then on this one, we have attack up +8.4. We can put attack up +18, which gives us just stupid damage. So with that, we can probably upgrade the blood gems on our saw cleaver. So we can get this one. We have a +12.6. And on here, we can do attack versus the kin down. I don't mind that just because I primarily use the saw cleaver against beasts. So the fact that it has a debuff against kin, I don't really care because I'm using my other weapons for everything else except for beasts anyways. So that's physical attack up +19%. Good grief. And here we can put this, let's see. Yeah, we can put this physical attack up +8.4. So, wow. We got some powerful blood gems just by exploring those areas that we just went through. So it is definitely worth the extra time to do all that. Especially, you know, we got all that extra stuff with the Brain of Mensis. We got the Blood Rock. We got the extra Hunter's Tool. So there's just so much stuff in that secret area that we definitely don't want to pass up. So make sure you don't miss it. And again, make sure that when you attempt to do that roll off the elevator, make sure that you don't have a lot of blood echoes at stake. Or maybe you're just better at this game than me and you will get it on your first try and not have to worry about it. But I wouldn't chance it if I were you. So now that we've unlocked the shortcut, you know where we're going. We're going straight to the boss. You can actually attack Queen Yarnum here and make her disappear, but I like to leave her there. So, up here, catch the elevator. And got some more Mensis folks greeting us. And in here, there is a baby carriage. So this is Mergo's wet nurse. So she has some crazy attacks. You know, she basically has just those blades that are attached to her 6 arms, and those are her attacks that she does. You know, you just want to make sure that you time your attacks with sort of the end of her attacks, so that way she doesn't get you. A lot of these attacks do a lot of damage to you in one hit. So this is sort of like a combo that she does, where she just does a bunch of attacks in succession. So just stay away from that. Really the way to get her is to bait her attack, run in, get a hit, back off, rinse, repeat. So a little bit on the lore of this enemy. So this is Mergo's wet nurse. Mergo, again, being the child of Queen Yarnum and the Great One Udden. And so, you know, we noticed the baby carriage was empty, but one of the theories of this game is that Mergo is actually formless, given that the Great One, who is Mergo's father, presumably, is the formless Udden. Remember, we read that rune about Udden, says that Udden does not have form. And so that is also substantiated by the fact that Mergo's wet nurse, if you look under her hood and under her robes and such, she does not have any form either. So presumably Mergo and Mergo's wet nurse take the, you know, have the same characteristics as the Great One Udden, who, you know, of course, is Mergo's supposed father. So, kind of interesting. So the idea being, we kill Mergo's nurse, we kill Mergo. Because if you think about what a wet nurse is, I believe a wet nurse is someone who is apart from the mother in charge of breastfeeding a baby. So if, you know, the source of the baby's nourishment is vanquished, then presumably the baby will die. So I think that's how this is supposed to work, but I could be wrong on that. So yeah, you see what I'm doing is pretty straightforward. I didn't get out of the way quick enough for that. Whoops, wait for that attack. Go in. Sometimes I get greedy and I try to get 2 hits. Sometimes it works out for me, sometimes I pay for it. The one attack you want to watch out for is sometimes referred to as the tilt-a-whirl. I don't think she's done it yet, or at least if she has, I haven't really noticed it. And it's like she turns to the side and does this big, like, diagonal attack. Okay, so here's where you want to watch out. When she does this, like, nightmare phase. Oh, she's not doing the nightmare phase right now. Okay, good. There's the tilt-a-whirl. That is a very powerful attack. It's perhaps her most powerful attack. You don't want to be caught up in the tilt-a-whirl. She'll do what's called a nightmare phase, and it's what it is the whole screen will kind of go dark, and then she'll summon another copy of herself. Then they'll both kind of attack you from both sides, and it's very hard to dodge. I think she's doing, yeah, this is nightmare phase. So there's going to be 2 of them now, and the other one will kind of attack you from the other side. There's the other one, and it can be quite problematic. The suggested strat during this is to kind of just run around as best as you can, avoiding the attacks as best as you can until the nightmare phase ends and you just are fighting one of them again. So yeah, you'll see it's very difficult to avoid getting hit, unfortunately. And this is probably the riskiest part of the fight, is just surviving this part. This is probably where most people's deaths are going to happen, unless you're just not being careful about the primary attacks during the normal phase. But so just trying to avoid all of the attacks right now, and they just kind of despawn and respawn out of nowhere. And okay, so now we've survived that, so now we're back to just 1. Hopefully we'll get the kill pretty shortly here. Where did she go? There she is. Oops. There's another attack there. Dang it. I didn't know it was a triple chain. Okay. Come on. Ah, missed that. Ah, she did it back to back. Heal up. And where did she warp to? There she is. Oops, missed the first one. Sometimes when she does this, you can get behind her. She's generally pretty good about recovering and turning around to face you, though, so it's hard to get secret... Oh, don't do another nightmare phase. Please don't do another nightmare phase. Whoops. That was bad. That was bad. That almost killed me. Rip. I hope I don't run out of blood vials. There's the tilt-a-whirl. The tilt-a-whirl leaves her open to some hits, though. Alright, let's get her. Right here? Ah, she has one hit left. Alright, let's do it right now. Boom. Oh, no! That tilt-a-whirl almost killed me, though. That would have sucked. So bad. Alright, she's doing a nightmare phase, but we just killed her, so it doesn't matter. Okay, so she's dead. No prey slaughtered. So you hear the baby crying. Nightmare slain. Boom. And for our trouble, we get the fourth and final 1/3 of umbilical cord. And we have access to this lamp. And we have 134,000 blood echoes. Yippee. Alright, so once we killed the wet nurse, you heard the baby crying, and then eventually the crying stopped. So, Mergo is no more. So, I'm actually, it sounds kind of counterintuitive. Actually, let's just warp back to the Hunter stream. So a little bit on that. So there are some that theorize that the source of the Scourge of the Beasts is Mergo. There is some debate on that. And you'll notice our Hunter's Dream is on fire. Wonder what that's about.
Good hunter, dawn will soon
I will continue
break.
that thought in just a second.
This night and this dream will end. Gammon awaits you at the foot of the great tree.
Okay.
Very well.
So take up some endurance. We'll take up some strength. And maybe some more endurance. Okay, so the Hunter's Dream is on fire. Presumably that's because we've fulfilled our purpose. Why we were summoned to the dream in the first place. It is believed that the reason why we were summoned was to kill Mergo. So let's look at this. To escape the dreadful Hunter's Dream, halt the source of the spreading scourge of the beast, lest the night carry on forever. So to escape the dream, we have to halt the scourge. So that's why some people think that Mergo is the scourge, because once we kill Mergo, then pretty much the purpose of the dream is fulfilled. So this is, unless you're going to do the DLC, this is the very end of the game. So if you go to the tree and talk to Gammon like the doll suggested, what that means is to come over here, and this gate is now finally open, and you can walk up there and talk to Gammon. That is the end of the game. So if you are not planning on doing the DLC and want to get to the end of this walkthrough, you're going to have to skip forward a few videos to the end game video, the grand finale video, which will probably be up in about a week or so after I finish the game finally. If you are doing the DLC, this is the point where we are going to do the DLC. The reason for that is because once you beat the game, you are automatically cycled back through to a new game plus. When you're cycled back through a New Game Plus, the DLC will not be accessible until you kill Vicar Amelia. And in the New Game Plus in this game, the enemy difficulty is scaled upwards, and that includes the DLC. So the DLC enemies will be a bit harder because, of course, you are now leveled up, and they don't want you to just completely overpower everybody. So they scale up the difficulty of the enemies in New Game Plus. The DLC is already very difficult, so I do suggest doing the DLC as part of your first playthrough if you're going to do it. So, that being said, I want to show you my favorite blood echo farming route. So we're going to warp back to the Wet Nurse's Lunarium. And so, because of that note that I just read up in the workshop, which is still accessible even though it's on fire, says that to halt, to basically get out of the dream, to halt the source of the scourge. That's why some people think that Mergo is the source of the scourge. There are other people that think something else is the source of the scourge, and I will get into that when we actually get to it, because we haven't seen it yet. But I'll just point out at this point in the game that some people think that Mergo is the source of the scourge. But again, that is up for debate. So here we are, Queen Yarnum still there, but as we approach, she bows and disappears as Mergo has finally been dealt with and is gone forever. So the way that I do blood vial farming, I usually charge down here, get a good couple swipes on these guys, get their health down a little bit, and then I'll run back up to the stairs, let them pursue me, and watch how many. We're starting with 6593, so keep that in mind. Alright, got both these guys with a single charge attack. This guy followed me as well. Get a charge attack on him. Get our blood vials back. And then down here, get this guy. And then, whoops. Now, where you really get the payoff is from these pigs. Now, keep in mind, I've got all 3 moon runes equipped. And watch this. This is just absurd. He's going to charge after me. They're both charging after me. Not ideal, but we managed. Oh, that was painful. Get some blood vials back. And some more blood vials. So you notice we're already at 55,000. So here we got... This one, for some reason, doesn't notice you until you're, like, literally right in front of it. He still doesn't notice me. I'm just going to get some free hits in. And he's dead, too. So, that is one loop. We get 16,000 for each of those pigs. One loop netted us 71,000 blood... Well, we started at 6,000. And so now we're at a total of 71,000, and that's just from one loop. So the way to do this quickly, just use a bold hunter's mark. Don't run all the way back to the lamp because that just takes a lot of time. Use a bold hunter's mark. You'll just endure one load screen, and then boom, here we are back at the beginning of the route. You can rinse and repeat. Now this route yields you so many blood echoes that you can just afford to buy some bold hunter's mark at the shop in the Hunter's Dream, and like the fact that it speeds it up so much quicker to use a bold hunter's mark, it pays for itself just to buy the bold hunter's marks and to keep doing this for. I mean, there are times where I've done this for 15 minutes or 30 minutes at a time, and have gotten just crazy amounts of blood echoes in a relatively short amount of time, and it's always been worth it. Now you do have to watch out because I mean these things can, if you know. The strategy works most of the time, but sometimes they'll kill you, and then your blood echoes are at risk. So I don't ever let myself build up too much of a pool of blood echoes without cashing them in. But just know that you are technically risking them if you don't cash them in. Now, that only got one of them. Make sure you don't fall down here. Come on. Oh, that didn't reach him. That's too bad. this time. There we go. Got our blood echoes back, or blood vials back, rather. And the fire one's going to be down here, as usual. And then we go back to the pigs. Now in a new game plus, I mean, everything gives you, I mentioned the enemies are scaled up, but it also means that they're going to give you more blood echoes. So in a new game plus, I mean, you just get stupid blood echoes from doing this. Make sure he doesn't hit you. Done. Not bad for blood vials either. I mean, a lot of these things drop blood vials. So we're already at over 120,000 and we still got one pig left. Fantastic. And use Bold Hunter's Mark. And, I mean, literally, how long did that take? 5 minutes, and we're at 137. I mean, we started with 6,000, so we got 131 from doing that. So that is the best way to grind for blood echoes by far. And now I will say, in the next video, we're going to start the DLC. So I would recommend being about level 90 for the DLC. Some people might say that's a little bit too high, but I mean, the DLC is tough, guys. I'm not going to sugarcoat things. So I would recommend about level 90. So if you need to do that route a few times to get yourself up to level 90, no shame in that. I'm going to boost my strength up to 30 here. Why not make it 31? And then I'm going to take my endurance up to 31 as well. In fact, let's see what the difference between skill. So with strength, we get +3. Skill, we get +3. Strength gives us more bang for a buck on our saw cleaver, though, so we might as well take that up. So I mentioned that, you know, there's a soft cap at 25 where you start seeing diminishing returns for strength and skill. There's actually another soft cap at 50 where you're going to see even further diminishing returns. So just keep that in mind as well when you're doing your leveling up. So that takes us almost all the way down to 199 left. So you notice here you can purchase items. Bolt Hunter's Marks are 1,200 a pop. You could just buy a few of them, buy 5 of them, and you'll be good to go for another round of farming. So that's about it. Alright guys, we covered a lot in this video. I mean, we started with Ebrietas, we moved on through the rest of Nightmare of Mensis. We got all the things that we needed to get. We killed Mergo's wet nurse. We went over the best blood vial farming route in the game. And that does it for the main game, except for the very, very end of the game. Actually, while we're at it, I'm going to see if we can buy a blood rock now from the Insight shop since we beat Mergo's wet nurse. And we sure can. So 60, we've got 27. I'm pretty sure we have more than enough Madman's Knowledge to compensate for... Yeah, we got 47 Madman's Knowledge, and we need 33 to get to 60. So we're going to go ahead and do that and get our second blood rock. I know this video is going a little bit long, but that's okay. So we're going to purchase ourselves a blood rock, and we're going to take our handy dandy... Look, see, you can see the beast meter and the frenzy meter appear after using all that insight. So that is kind of a visual representation of what it does to your beasthood and to your frenzy resistance. So let's use a blood echo item, of which we have many. And we are going to take our trusty saw cleaver to level 10. There we go. Okay, so now that is it for tonight. I know this is a bit of a longer video, but we covered a lot of important stuff. Next video, we're going to take on the DLC. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to join the squad by subscribing to the channel. Leave a like and comment. Your support means so much to me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it, and have a great day.